Hello, animal lovers. This video is going to be about how to keep our pets healthy, actually focusing on cats and dogs. I was asked to make video on this topic by my Slovenian friend. Unfortunately, my Slovenian is very bad. I can understand them. I cannot really use that language. So it will be in English. So it will be understood by broad audience, and it will be then translated. So why do we encounter so many diseases in our pets, in dogs and cats? In the past, diseases were not so prominent. Basically, dogs would show aging symptoms, same like humans. You know, they would start getting gray around nozzle and then start losing vision, losing teeth, getting caries, teeth problems, and then turning into hernias and joint problems, difficulty getting up, and kidney failures. That was basically with dogs in the past. Now this is all accelerated, so it comes in earlier and earlier age. And on top of it, cancers show up. Or tumors. Now, with cats in the past, there were not really problems. Cats were not constricted to living in a house. They were kind of domesticated animals. So they still have their freedom. They were hunting, catching mice, catching birds, you know, all kinds of animals in a house, and they would actually eat them. And in the past, we would give our pets food from the table, leftovers. Okay, so what were the leftovers? Well, usually there was the meat, because cat would not eat anything but meat leftover. And dogs, well, they are omnivores like us. So sugar is highly addictive, and they would go for carbohydrates. And then if we made a mistake and there was some leftover of spinach, dogs would get what we call parvo disease. As we know, the little buggers, non-existent little buggers that I cannot mention, if you want to be able to see this video on YouTube, that you get inoculated against, so-called, they are not causing the disease because they do not exist. It is a reaction towards toxicity. And spinach is highly toxic for humans, very much so, and for dogs, it's deadly. Now, why now dogs and cats become way more susceptible to health problems? The most common problem in male cats used to be the obstruction of urethra. And then, of course, there would be a recommendation done by vet, changing the diet, low ash diet, what the hell that means. Basically giving them meat diet from a can. Well, since people start using more and more canned foods prepared for cats, what do we see? We see increase in leukemia. Well, same thing like with the children when I mentioned frankfurters, and then also ham and all that stuff that is full of nitrates and other preservatives. If you put preservatives to meat, what kind of preservatives has to be? Well, meat self-degrades. So you have to prevent it from self-metabolizing itself. So once when you prevent it from being metabolized, your body cannot metabolize it either. And those chemicals then end up in a body that has to fight them. But our bodies cannot fight that stuff because it cannot locate it. I explained this, that once when we start eating carbohydrates, genetically, our bodies has to adapt, so they make a shift. And one of the consequences of the shift is the body stops producing GCMF, which is a marker that marks undesirable proteins and toxins in the blood or in a body in general, in a cell too. So this way, when they are marked, then the white blood cells recognize them as being a garbage, being something that has to be taken out. If it's not marked, then white blood cells will not know what to attack, so they will just roam around looking, not realizing what has to be done. And this is how we get leukemia. So the proteins, amino acids that come in, and they are damaged, they are not recognized by white blood cells, well, they are not being marked, so they linger in the blood, creating problems, toxic problems, but the body monitoring system recognizes them. So it urges production of white blood cells. But then white blood cell does not recognize them because they're not labeled. This is the basic mechanism of how leukemia is developed. If you ask veterinarians, well, you're asking doctor. And all doctors worldwide are indoctrinated with the same crappy science. They have no clue. They will point to better and better diets. So now, what are the foods that you buy in a pet store or at a vet designed specifically for your breed of animal or type of animal? Well, they are all based on carbohydrates. All the croquettes, all the dry food, well, generalizing all commercial stuff. There is some very expensive, high-end food which is dehydrated meat. But those are very few, very expensive. It's better to buy regular meat. You can buy filet mignon for that price that you are buying that stupid dried food. So, what is happening when we start feeding animals carbohydrates? Same thing what happens with us. We start getting sick. So, we start having problem with blood circulation, which then ends up problems with eyes. The sugar produces acidic environment in the body, rots our teeth, and the lack of GCMF then body cannot really deal with the regular garbage. So our pets are becoming, same as humans, more toxic. As diseases increase in humans, so they increase in pets, because we feed them basically the same food, just labeled for dog or for cat. Now, cats and dogs are different. They have different metabolism. Similar, but different. In a way that cats are strictly carnivores. But sugar is highly addictive to all mammals. And once when you start giving them pellets, carbohydrates, then they get hooked to it. They don't want to eat other food. They want pellets. So these pellets, you have basically now 3 types. The cheap one are based on soy, because soy is dirt cheap. And we know it's toxic. So then you have a more expensive, based on rice. Rice is less toxic, but still it's carbohydrate. And now, since nutritionists are claiming that legumes are way healthier because they have a higher percentage of protein in them than other grain. So we have now the more expensive type of carbohydrate food for dogs and cats based on legumes, which are actually more toxic than even the lower priced food made based on soy. And of course, problems increase. And vets, I don't know what's happening now with this generation. It's really good stuff, because vets, same as the doctors, same as nutritionists, know deadly squat about diet. Deadly squat. None of them understands problem and difference between cooked and raw foods. And we are all indoctrinated into believing that the best cat's meow is vegetables. Here, since many people are coming, especially to heal themselves based on plant healing mechanisms, a lot of vegans are here. A lot of vegan restaurants are opening, and vegetarian and vegan restaurants. I have friends that feed their cats strictly vegetarian diet. And then they are surprised, wow, they are so skinny, I don't know what happened. Oh, they have been diagnosed with leukemia. I don't know what's going on. Well, a lot of plant toxins, as I mentioned, green tea, causes leukemia as well, because it has toxin that the body recognizes a toxin, but it is not marked because the mechanism of the body shifted from ketogenic into glucoholic state, stop producing GCMF, and bingo, leukemia. Now, how can we keep our pets healthy? Start feeding them correctly. Dog is omnivore. What does that mean? It is basically carnivore that will eat fruits. Same as us. This is why wolves became quickly domesticated, because they would eat the same diet of their bosses, their owners. Same is with the dogs. Same is with the bear. Only bear is a little bit too dangerous to have around, unpredictable, so we stick to dogs. Cats are carnivores, but if you give them sugar, they get used to it, and they start liking it, and they will eat pellets. So we have to start treating them as if they live in nature. Start buying them meat. Go to a butcher. Tell him to give you scraps. Now, nobody really likes to eat lungs. There is no nutrition in the lungs. And very often when you buy scraps, well, there'll be a lot of lung tissue. Well, avoid it. Don't buy your pet's lungs. But anything else, left over or from a bone of the meat that is being cut off with the cartilage in it, that's fine. Bones are good. If you want to give them something warm sometimes, well, you can make a broth from a bone and just put salt and that's it. And give them the broth. It will have fats in it that dogs and cats can have. But one of the best food for cat is fish. Now the trick is also getting cat used to it. Once when it's on pellets, it is a hard thing to get them used to raw meat in general. This is why you should start as soon as you have small kitten. Buy sardine. Give them the whole fish with the intestines, with everything. Let them munch on it. This is the best food you can give them. If you live next to a lake, throw net, catch small fish, give them the fish. Dogs, same. My dog Sailor that I have when I start sailing, first 7 years he was strictly on raw fish, the whole fish. I would dive, spearfish, give him fish. This is what he ate, nothing else. He was healthy, his teeth were white. When his health went down, when I was in Croatia, and I got him pedigree food made in, I think it was from Hungary. He got sick almost immediately. And he started having high blood pressure. Why? Because blood circulation has to accelerate, body wanted to get rid of this garbage. At that time, I did not know. So, we have to treat the animals correctly. The healthiest food for everybody, including us, is raw meat. So, get the cheapest raw meat you can get if you cannot afford better. And organs, kidneys, spleen, they'll eat it. Intestines, they'll eat this stuff. And they will love it. And occasionally, you can give them, if you sear meat, you can give them a little bit of that stuff if you want. Bones left over. So give them the bone. Try not to give them bones from poultry because they splinter. And they can cause problem. But any other animal, including fish, if it's not cooked, bone is stuck to the meat, to the muscle, they chew it up, they swallow it, there is no problem with it. If you already have pet that was eating incorrectly, you can start slowly training them the other way around. Good food for cat and for dog is a milk with egg inside. And just mix the egg a little bit, put a little bit salt, and let them have it. It is good for pets, especially if they have been on a wrong diet, and especially if they show symptoms of health issues, to put them in a cleansing gear, which means, again, raising plasma blood levels, but you cannot really force cat or dog to drink if they don't want to. So one way to go around it, you can take a meat that you give them that they eat and make it salty. Again, use only the not refined, not iodized salt, because iodized salt is toxic. And when they eat it, they'll get thirsty. And then you give them the water with a little salt in it. Same like for us, between 6 to 10 grams of salt per liter. And this is going to kick them into hydration and detox. And they will have the same detox as we. They should get soft stool, they may get a runny nose, runny eyes. They do not sweat. They don't have sweat glands. They may sweat between toes. But if they had a bad skin, well, the toxins are going to be pushed in that way. So you have to detoxify all this area. And you do it with plasma, water, and sea salt. Another thing that is very healthy for animals, cats and dogs, but any animal, birds, if you have parrots, and parrots love meat, but healthy stuff for them is nanoparticle colloidal silver. So if they show any problem in dogs, swollen testicles, or inflammations, you give them colloidal silver. You can squirt it in a mouth, so they have to drink it. And don't be shy. Use decent amount. Or you can also put it in a water they drink, but then the bowl cannot be made out of metal. It has to be either plastic or glass or some kind of a ceramic. And you have to keep the water in a darker place, somewhere in a corner where not too much light comes, so the colloidal silver does not oxidize under influence of bright light, especially sunlight. Then it can be there, and they can slowly drink it, and they will have benefits of the salty water and benefits of colloidal silver. I've seen incredible results with colloidal silver. You can, it's basically not only that it is destroying bacteria and parasites, and even one-cell parasites, like parasites, multicellular parasites will not be affected, but one-cell parasites, like Rickettsia, Mycoplasma, they will. It will destroy them. And it will destroy eggs of multicell parasites. So even if the dog, for example, or cat has heartworm, well, it will not kill the heartworm, but it is going to be killing the eggs. So eventually, there is not going to be heartworm there, without poisoning it with poisons to kill the parasite. Because what is toxic for parasite is going to be toxic for your cells, or for their cells. Not in a way to kill them, because it will be regulated, but it will keep the cells closed. They don't hydrate, they don't detoxify, pow and go. It's not a good idea. There will be toxic buildup shortening the age and showing chronic health issues later on. Exactly same like with people. Ivermectin is good for parasites, but it is going to close down the cells. So if you are using any kind of medication, should be short term, 1 week, 2 weeks. If need to be 3 weeks, that's it. And then leave at least a couple months to hydrate and detoxify. This is the best way to treat your pets. You don't have to brush their teeth. That's nonsense. You just have to feed them correctly. Now, if you notice plague, it's very often in dogs and cats also that eat this carbohydrate. Carbohydrate maintains things alkaline in the mouth until it becomes acidic once when it is going through digestion. But in the mouth, no. And what happens is it can build up on teeth. So using acidic stuff, like a little bit of lemon, and put it on a brush and put it on the build up on the teeth, it will dissolve it little by little. On my dog, once when he started eating the lousy food, I would, with nail, I would just pry it off and get rid of that buildup. But again, so you have solution. You have to understand that acids dilute mineral deposits and get rid of it. Alkalinity sediments it. This is why alkaline buffers are needed in the bones to sediment minerals to strengthen the bone. And when bone has to be reset, readjusted, and partially melted away, then acid is being used to melt the bone. And then again, alkaline buffer to redeposit the minerals back. Understanding that diet is the most important thing if we want to be healthy, having the correct diet. Do not trust doctors, nutritionists, vets to suggest you what food to get. If it is packaged food, it's a junk. Doesn't matter if it's pellet or if it is in a can, it's a junk food. It's toxic. You can have some canned food for emergencies. You run out, and canned food, what I have for my dogs is same what I have for me, it's tuna. Okay, so this is what I have, cans for emergencies. We could not go out, a lot of rain, so we didn't shop for meat. Okay, emergency, poop. We can always get here local eggs and mix with tuna, some milk, well, good food. As for pets, same for us. If you are familiar with Self-Healers Protocol, what is good for us, it is good for dogs and cats. Simple. Keep them on a raw food. Lightly cooked occasionally fine, but try to stick. Sometimes when I was training the dogs that I got, the one that we found on the street, well, was used already, was young but still was used already to eat carbohydrates. So I gave him a piece of raw fish, looked at it, so I had to kind of sear it a little bit, heat it up, so it smells different, then would eat it. And then I say less and less, and now eats it raw. Learn the truth and treat your pets correctly, and they will not be sick. If they have an inflammation in the eyes, use colloidal silver. You can put the drops, or much easier it is to have a little misting bottle. Put colloidal silver there and just spray. You can spray it in their nose when they breathe. You can even spray a little bit in the ear if they have a problem, but remember, ears do not love moisture. So you can spray a little bit, massage the ear, and then take coconut oil, few drops, and put in and massage it. If you clean the ear, go only as deep as you can reach with your finger. Never do deep ear cleaning, because if you take the fat out of the ear, then the animal or human will start having problems with ears, inflammations, all kinds of problems. Ear does not like moisture, has to be protected with grease all the time. There's a lot of cholesterol there. Okay, so this is basically the general way how to treat and how to feed your pets, and how you can help them to heal also by using basically the same protocol as for us, but adapted to animals. Because yes, if somebody tells you you should drink and you have to drink as much water, plasma, as necessary to achieve diarrhea, well, you cannot explain this to a dog. And similar is with the horse, because horse is also omnivore. But by giving them salt in a food, this makes them thirsty, increases the salt mineral level in the body. They have to start eliminating it, and if they have not enough plasma, thirst comes. And then you trick them and put some minerals, some sea salt, in the plasma as well. So this way they hydrate and more surplus of mineral comes, and they detoxify. They start urinating much more. If they can get diarrhea, that much better. They will cleanse faster. And you will see your pets will start healing. Same as us, they have self-healing mechanism, which cannot work if you constantly keep them poisoned and dehydrated. So these are a few tips. Try them, let me know. Love you all. God bless you. Namaste.